Whoa, what a week. For the coaches, it started on Tuesday. We had Tiger Athletic Give Day, which is a one-day thing where our donors donate and we see how much money we can raise. We had a phenomenal day. We earned about $170,000, which will really help carry our team throughout this whole season. Those dollars that we earn pay for trips like the one to Stillwater. Getting to Stillwater, then we get into the weekend and it's crazy. We leave Thursday really early in the morning. It's tough to get to Stillwater. We get to Stillwater around 4. We work out at 5. It's tough after travel. So we worked out. The guys actually looked really good and they handled the travel well, even though it's about 7 hours of travel. So I felt pretty good seeing them that night. Got up the next morning, got a quick workout in, quick sweat in for some of our heavier guys. And then we did our pre-match routine before we hit Oklahoma State on Friday night at 7. What a great environment. It's one of the most historic gyms in the country for wrestling. So we were so grateful to even be in that gym wrestling with Oklahoma State. The thing we knew in our hearts, though, is we could compete with them. And so the one unfortunate thing is when we woke up on the day of the dual meet, our 65-pounder had come down with a little bit of a medical issue, and so he couldn't compete. So we started the duel a man down. I mean, the match started at 165, and we had to forfeit that match. So we go right into 174. At 174, Kevin Parker took them out against a really tough Oklahoma State guy. He was in the match the whole time, a little bit back and forth. Out of all of our guys, Kevin, or maybe Mike D'Angelo, had the toughest weekend in relation to who they were wrestling, and he got the job done and got the win. At 184, Travis Stefanik is wrestling a guy who beat the Lehigh kid who actually beat Travis. So the kid goes really hard too, and he's really good, starting to make a name for himself. Not sure if he's ranked. Travis wrestled a superb match. There was a lot of scrambles within the duel, and then finally Travis was able to get a takedown. Went into OT, and Travis hit the same thing he hit on the kid in regulation to win the match. Almost put him on his back. We kind of quieted down Gallagher Iba in that match. 197, man, there's so many good matches in this dual meet, but Pat Bruckey wrestled Gear from Oklahoma State. Had a close match with him here last year. Kind of slowed down in the middle of the match, and Gear hung in there. He won the match. This match, he left no one was even wondering who the better wrestler was. He had secured a major with about, I don't know, 15 seconds left. He's riding, gets switched and gets reversed, gives up the major, but still a really dominant performance. Moving to heavyweight, we have a true freshman there who's trying to figure out his way, was competing well and just kind of made a freshman mistake. At one point in the, I think it was the second period, he got a little high. The kid gets a reversal, but what you don't want to do in D1 is sort of say to yourself, oh man, I gave up too, and give that one little second of time where you're kind of saying, oh, what happened? The other kid took advantage of him, put him to his back, and really spread the match out of reach. Then it was sort of like we shot Pat Glory out of a rocket. Pat Glory, after we lose that match, he flies on the mat. He's wrestling Nick Piccinini, who he's lost to 3 times last year, and he's really hungry to get this match. And he started like a wild man, and it was back and forth, and Nick Piccinini is so good. So it's just one of those matches you were pumped for. They were back and forth. Pat secured the first takedown, which was huge, and he was really aggressive on top. A little bit too aggressive. He got reversed at the end of the first, which knotted up the match. Goes to the second. We had odds, so that was a beautiful thing. And we were able to get on top and get the turn against Piccinini. There was a bunch of scrambles throughout that period. We go into the third. We're up a little, up pretty good. And this is the coolest thing probably about the duel that I really appreciate is the competitor that Pat Glory is. Pat Glory had a good little cushion of a lead, and 95 to 99% of guys would have coasted in that situation. A guy you lost to 3 times before, Pat Glory didn't coast. He took neutral, the whistle blew, and he got on the attack. He really sealed that match in the third period, and I was so proud of him. He's a shining light of what you're supposed to do in a wrestling match for our program, and I said that after the match. 33 is a lot like heavyweight for us. We have a true freshman who's still trying to figure it out, and with our schedule, we don't really give him any breathing room. So he's got a really tough guy at 133. He fought pretty hard in that match, but just couldn't keep up with Whitcraft from Oklahoma State. Moving to 41, Marshall Keller we got to figure out, he's a little bit of a slow starter. I think he gave up a takedown, and once he's behind there, it was hard for him to come back and get the win. So that was a really tough match for us with Marshall, where we thought we could get the win there, and he just couldn't quite pull it off. At 149, this is the other guy I talked about, Kevin Parker, who had a tough weekend. At 149, Mike D'Angelo was facing another top-ranked guy. I think he was third or fourth, right around where this Lugo was from Iowa. Awesome match. He's in the match, and I think he ends up losing by a point or two. There was some questionable back points in the match where I didn't even see the ref giving swipes. I have to look at the film. I haven't had a chance yet, but we're trying to see what happened there. But it doesn't really matter. The ref gave some quick backs, which caused Mike to lose the match. Then we go to 57. Holy Moses. Quincy Monday, maybe OW of the weekend. He's facing Wyatt Sheets. Cool little story is that Quincy Monday and Wyatt Sheets are the sons of teammates of Oklahoma State and national champs, Quincy Monday and Mike Sheets. So we knew this was going to be a great match, and it was the last one, so it's kind of cool to have that match, and we feel, as I've said before, we're very confident in Quincy Monday's skills. He shined bright, and he got the job done and got the win, which capped off that duel. So all in all, it was a good duel. Had we not had that forfeit, maybe the outcome would have been a little different. But what we said to the guys after that duel was, hey, we tell you not to worry about the outcome, just go wrestle hard. That's exactly what they did. So we were pretty much praising them for what they put out there. They were tough, they were exciting, and they were getting after it and putting on a show. Coming to this arena today, amazing. It was a pretty packed house. I don't know what the numbers were. I'm guessing around 3,000 or 4,000 people. And the wrestling was good as well. And with Nate Jackson led us off as a coaching staff, singing the national anthem was pretty damn cool. And so that got us kicked off the right way, where everyone was pretty charged up. Started this dual meet at 125. Unfortunately, Spencer Lee didn't make the trip. I kind of thought he wasn't gonna for a long time, because he's also trying to make an Olympic team while wrestling for Iowa. And if I was their coaching staff, I probably would have done the same thing, because the U.S. Open is actually in 2 weeks. So I kind of didn't expect him to come to this duel. And he didn't come. And, you know, for Pat, he was looking forward to that match, but I thought he handled himself well. He doesn't have the guy he thinks he's supposed to have. He's got a tough kid who was a world team member, who's Iowa's, you know, second string guy behind their national champ, and he wrestled him really well. I think Pat really got us started right in the match, like he usually does, and just really worked hard, and it was a workmanlike win. At 133, Pearson again, he's got the #1 ranked guy in the country, and DeSanto. Again, he's trying to figure it out as a true freshman, and he's getting a little bit thrown to the wolves. But at the end of the day, what Sean can take away from a match like that is what D1 wrestling looks like, what it looks like to be the #1 guy. I give DeSanto a ton of credit. The kid never stopped. He kept heat on the whole time. So it was one of those things where I hope he walks away and says, I have to be like that. I have to wrestle like that. But he's sort of got to get his confidence before he can do that. So we'll keep working with Sean. He's done a good job. And we got to get his confidence up, because he's a really good wrestler, PA state champ. And we really think he's going to be an impact wrestler for our team down the road. Keller, as I said earlier, slow starter. He seems to give up takedowns early, and then he's trying to climb his way back. His opponent was, I watched a bit of him. He looked good tonight, to be honest with you. His opponent was wrestling a great match. Marshall wasn't recognizing it, but his opponent was really controlling the hand fight. So Marshall never looked like he ever felt really comfortable taking shots, and the guy was taking advantage of that, and the guy got some shots off. Hats off to that Iowa wrestler. He was tough in that match. Marshall's got some things to work on. I don't know what it is. He's got to get himself going, and he's got to make some adjustments in the hand fight. 49, heartbreaking. You know, we go to overtime with Lugo. I felt like we were bringing a lot of heat in the match. It was really tight, and goes into overtime. We get an escape. Lugo goes down. We give up in a reversal to lose the match. Mike's devastated. He's on that 14th ranked area, and you know, the last two guys he wrestled were maybe 3 and 4 respectively, or something along those lines. Depends on what ranking you look at. And he just really wanted one of those wins to prove that he belongs in that top 3-4 range. That weight is wide open. What I walk away saying to myself is, you are. You know, the scoreboard didn't show it today, but those two matches are easily the other way around in March, where we're talking top 3 in the nation, which makes you in the spot to be a national champion. And we believe Mike D'Angelo could win that NCAA title at that weight. Move on up to 57. Again, Quincy capping off an amazing weekend. He's wrestling the number 3 wrestler in the country in Young. And he just wrestled a good match. He scored early. Last year he did the same thing, by the way. Again, he's a true freshman at Carver Hawkeye last year. Scored a couple takedowns, actually. And Young, having a little bit more seasoned, was able to pull out the win. Today, Quincy scored the takedown, wrestled a smart match throughout, and got the W. I kind of grabbed him after the match, and I said, you could have scored more. You could have scored more. And he knows that, but I think he needed that win over a guy that's top 3 to know he belongs. I think from here now, Quincy just extends himself. He's got to start, and I said this to him, he's got to start to separate himself from the rest of the field, and that's what those top-level guys do. 1, 2, 3, 4, they start separating themselves, and Quincy can absolutely do that. 65, we're up against the Hammer. He's named the Bull. Kind of funny. One of the guys in the crowd was like, we got the Matador. But Connor Melbourne, we called him, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, we called him yesterday. You know, he's probably sitting back here eating in the dining hall. We called Connor Melbourne. We're like, hey, guess what? We need you because Grant Cuomo's out. So, you know, but what's great about our guys is, like, he's excited. I don't know, that guy's ranked 1 in the country. So and he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. This is great. So I get back and we come to this workout today, and he's there and he's pumped to be in there. And he went out there and he fought hard. He hit a shot early on. He got in. And then the Bull kind of bowled a little bit, and that's what he does. And we kind of got on the defensive, and if you get on the defensive against that guy, he's really good. Hats off to him. There's a lot can be learned from watching him wrestle, Marinelli, on how to really manage a match. And unfortunately, we were on the wrong side of a well-managed match by Alex Marinelli. But hats off to Connor Melbourne. I mean, to get called in last second like that isn't easy. And so he was excited to get in here and wrestle, and he did as good a job as he could have done. I'm sure he wished he did better, but it's kind of hard to be pulled into that situation. 74, Kevin Parker. That Kemmerer kid from Iowa, he's really good. And when you get behind by a lot of points against someone who's really good, it's really hard because now they're comfortable. They've got a lead, and they can kind of just take some risks when they want to. And that's exactly what Kemmerer did. He had a little bit of a gap on Kevin. Kevin's trying to do his best, because he's good too, to close the gap, and that's when you expose yourself a little bit. And a seasoned guy like Kemmerer, he just kind of picked him apart because he's wide open like that. It was really good wrestling. I was really impressed with Kemmerer, the way he wrestled. Move up to 184, we have Travis Stefanik, who's coming off a pretty good win against Oklahoma State. He's wrestling the son of Terry Brands, Nelson Brands, who's ranked 10th in the country. He really needs this win. And so it was pretty great to see him go out there and really wrestle a good match. He kind of went out of bounds in the first 15 seconds and got a stall call. I'm like, what are you doing, Travis? But he kind of snapped out of it, got back into the match, scored some takedowns. Key point in that match was at the end of I think it was the first, is when he got that short time takedown, which was huge. Yeah, it was takedown, then we got taken down. We escaped and got a takedown. That's just high level wrestling. You get those short time takedowns, we train for that, and you'll win big time matches like he did today. So after that, he kind of managed the match. He kind of got similar speech as Monday in terms of, hey, you can do more. You can extend yourself a little bit, but it's kind of nice. I think the Lehigh match was a little upsetting. Rankings are actually important now. We used to talk when I was coming up, rankings don't matter because they didn't use them, but now they use them to determine who goes to the NCAA. So for Quincy and also for Travis, a match like that punches your ticket to NCAAs and really could put you in a good spot in the bracket. I think Travis is going to do more than that. He wants more than that. I think he could have been an All-American last year. We got 2 guys that are going to be chasing national titles in their time here, hopefully this year. They just really have to have a mentality shift to know that they can do that. Moving to 197, and we have Pat Bruckey, another guy who might have had one of the toughest weekends. Like I said, he beat Gearer, who was close with him last year. Now he's got Jacob Warner, who's number 3 in the country, another really tough guy from Iowa. Pat wrestled his butt off. I thought he was very aggressive. He scored the the first takedown. I think he might have scored 2 takedowns, but what he did was he dictated the pace. He was in a lot more. That's the upsetting thing to me, is sort of like he lost focus for about the last 10 seconds of the match, literally. When you got to shut a guy down, he was kind of reaching to tie with him, and as he was reaching to tie with him, Warner did a good job, took a pretty nice shot, got too much of an angle for us to deal with, and then he gets the score and is able to keep him down. Not a big deal. Pat's had a tough weekend, used a lot of emotional juice and almost getting that major against Oklahoma State. He's got a lot of stuff due tomorrow for school. He's an engineering student, and I knew we had a conversation about that, getting through the school and wrestling well. I'm proud of him. The beautiful thing is we get to do this again in Midlands. Hopefully Warner's there. We'll get another shot, and that's the way these things go during the season, and that's what he's going to be gearing up for, is that Midlands and the rest of the team. And then we have heavyweight Aiden Connor. This guy, again, he's wrestling one of the best guys in the country, and Cassiope from Iowa, and he fought hard. I don't recall what the exact score was, but he was in some positions where he's doing some good things, and again, our schedule doesn't give these young guys much room to breathe or get their, start pounding their chest a little bit because they get some easy matches. They won't really get that probably till the F&M Open is probably going to be an opportunity for them to really beat their chests. And Midlands, I think, we're going to see those Iowas and those really good schools, but there's going to be other rounds where our guys who maybe aren't getting all the wins at maybe 33 and 285 can gain some confidence. So from here, what do I take away from the whole weekend? Wow, I'm proud of this team. What a bunch of tough people. I put them through the ringer in terms of getting down to Stillwater, wrestling in that arena. Hard travel back. We got Iowa at home in front of a big crowd. It was a big test for these guys, and they responded well. Could have easily been like, man, this is a tough weekend. I don't know how we're going to get through it, but they loved it. And I think that was the cool thing. It was like we were all on a journey. And that's what these seasons are about a little bit. It's not about the wins or the losses. It's about us getting together and saying, hey, we're going to go down and we're going to do some pretty cool stuff. And while we walk away 0-2, I think we can feel pretty proud of how we performed. We always want to put on a show, and I think that happened. And so I'm just really proud of the team. This is as people that are in the know, it's a special group. We're really close, and we just keep building off this. So it's been exciting. I had such a fun weekend with these guys. I need a break. These guys, I get to get off tomorrow. They have to go to school tomorrow, so they have it really tough. Then from here we have Ryder, which is a huge match. Not next Thursday, the Thursday after, the 19th. We beat them last year. They're a tough team from New Jersey. They just beat Minnesota. Minnesota's a top-ranked team, so we have our work cut out for us there. Then we go home for the holidays, and then we're back for the Midlands. Last year we had a great Midlands championship. I think we were, I don't know what we were, 4th or 3rd or something like that. The highest we've ever placed, and we had 2 champs, first 2 champs ever. So we're ready, and stick with us. Go Tigers.